During the past 20 years, we have had the opportunity to work with thousands of action learning groups around the world, as well as the good fortune of sharing ideas and best practices with many of the world's top action learning practitioners. The purpose of this book is to share what we have experienced and learned, the exhilaration as well as the challenges. Although action learning is a relatively simple process, the essence of which could fit on a 3x5 card, there are a number of key principles and practices that, as we have discovered, move action learning from good to great, that take it from being a solid organizational tool to a spectacular resource for transforming people, groups, organizations, and even entire communities. This book describes each of the components of action learning and why they are necessary for action learning success. Through scores of stories and testimonials, the book clearly illustrates how many organizations have implemented and thrived with action learning. It also shows how any organization can simultaneously and effectively achieve the 5 primary benefits of action learning, namely problem solving, leadership development, team building, organizational change, and coaching competence. This book presents the basic elements and principles of action learning, as well as the more advanced, more recent innovations within the field of action learning, including the role of the action learning coach, the balance between order and chaos for maximum creativity, and the step-by-step procedures for introducing and sustaining action learning within your organization. Overview of the book. Chapter 1 provides an overview of action learning, the 6 basic components, and 2 key ground rules. It summarizes the 5 greatest challenges encountered by organizations in today's environment and how action learning enables organizations to respond effectively to those challenges. Chapter 1 also highlights the major contributions of action learning to organizations, groups, and individuals. Chapters 2 through 7 explore in detail each of the 6 critical components of successful action learning programs. Chapter 2 identifies the criteria for an action learning problem, how it is best introduced and examined, and the differences between single problem and multiple problem groups. In Chapter 3, we explore the group, including diversity of membership, ideal size, continuity, roles, and characteristics. Chapter 4 introduces the reflective inquiry process and discusses the importance of questions as well as the group rule, statements only in response to questions. The problem-solving, goal-framing, strategy development action is covered in Chapter 5, and Chapter 6 examines the individual, team, and organizational learning achieved through the action learning process. In Chapter 7, the roles and responsibilities, authority, and questions of the action learning coach are described. Chapter 8 provides the reader with detailed practical steps for unleashing the power of action learning in organizations and communities. We provide guidance for introducing, implementing, and sustaining action learning. Specific strategies for applying each step are offered. 2 in-depth case studies, Essilor International and U.S. Department of Justice, have been added. Throughout the book are scores of case examples from groups around the world that have introduced action learning into their organizations. The challenges they faced, as well as the successes they experienced, are discussed. Finally, there are numerous checklists at the end of each chapter to guide readers in understanding and implementing action learning for themselves. What's new in the 3rd edition? Since the 2nd edition was published 7 years ago, action learning has flourished in many countries around the world and within thousands of new organizations. We have thus added new vignettes and case studies from countries such as India, the Philippines, Brazil, France, Kuwait, Ukraine, Thailand, Uganda, Cambodia, and the Caribbean. More action learning is occurring within community-based